people say two things can be true at the same time, but can three things be true at the same time? I'll tell you where I'm going with this in a minute. I'm the Frugal Gardener. I garden in Zone 7A, that's in West Virginia. And I recently completed another harvest. The summer has been good to me. And I'll let you in on something. I challenged myself earlier this year, this spring, to grow a minimum of $700 worth of, I guess you call it produce, vegetables mostly, a couple of fruits, between spring and the solstice, the winter solstice, which is December 21st. Now, in order to pull that off, I had to do two things. One, I had to use these beds, which they look a little like they need a little work over here, but that's because I recently harvested elephant garlic in this area here. But if you look real close, you'll see sugar babies coming up. That's about 6 or 7 watermelons. And I have banana squash coming up. I had summer squash that I recently harvested. So anyway, this bed here, I just showed you guys a video of my record-breaking potato harvest. That worked out really well. So I'm happy with that. At any rate, that brings me to point number one, which is you need a space. Oh, the hummingbirds are back. You need a space where you can grow a large quantity of food and be able to duplicate that throughout the summer. So now we are in, I would say mid-August. So right now, these beds are empty. A lot of these pots are emptied. I think I scared the hummingbirds away. At any rate, I just emptied this yesterday, and I am getting ready to replant. I'm not going to get what I want to my 700. It's really 700 plus, $700 or more worth of groceries, which is really not that hard to do now because everything is so expensive. But the reason why I asked you guys about three things being true at once, because here's my question. Do you garden for fun? Do you garden to eat healthier? Or do you garden to save money? And for me, the answer is all three. When I say fun, I mean as a hobby. So I do that for all three reasons. And now with the food prices going up and up and up, we don't know what the prices are going to be. We don't know how much things are going to cost going into the winter. So you cannot wait until December and then say, oh, I'm going to plant X, Y, and Z, because it'll be too late. So what I did was set up a little guide that I use that might help you guys if you want to take advantage of the time that you have between now and pretty much the end of the year. My first frost date is October the 21st to November the 15th. I marked this down so that you guys can see 90 days. So that's 90 days that I have to grow. If our first frost is, in November the 15th, I have 90 days to grow whatever it is I want to grow. Now, my second marker is solstice. Solstice is December 21st, to be exact, 10:03 a.m. But look, that's 125 days from now. think of what you can grow in 125 days. Now I know what you're going to say. You're going to say it's going to be too cold. Well, the answer to that is maybe, because you can grow brassicas, you can grow broccoli, you can grow cabbage, and you can grow Brussels sprouts in 90 days. Now, here's the thing. I did a video a while ago on frost and cold nights in the fall. I'm not talking about being out here in January, February, freezing your butt off. I'm talking about between now and December the 21st. You already have an advantage. If you have a deck, a terrace, a balcony, a pergola, a patio, or a gazebo, you already have an advantage, because that will help you to block some of the frost. It will help keep some of the cold from coming up out of the ground, and it will help you get to that 90-day point. And by the way, some of these you can harvest in less than 90 days. So in case you didn't see my last couple of videos, you may have missed this. This is a recent harvest, and this is what I mean by getting to that $700 worth of produce. Obviously, this is nowhere near that, but this is my recent harvest, and this is what I planted. I have a bunch of these all over the property. These are bush beans. So, as I said, once you harvest something, then plant something else. These are the potatoes from my recent harvest. These are too small for me to fool with. These are knuckle busters. I don't want to try and peel these. You don't really have to if you clean them well. But this was the potato harvest that I recently did, maybe a week ago. So you have this harvest here. You have melon, squash, tomatoes. You even have a bell pepper in here. You have this harvest here. And this I'm really proud of. This was the other day. Yes. These are my red potatoes, my Yukon Go potatoes, and there's a couple of just regular run-of-the-mill white potatoes thrown in there. But this is, I'm real happy because, again, if you follow my channel, I struggled the first 2 years up here. I have clay soil. The soil is really crappy. The frugal son-in-law helped me bring in over 2,000 pounds of soil to amend the soil. And then I had to deal with the deer, the raccoons, the squirrels, not too many squirrels, but there's rabbits out here. I saw a wild turkey this morning. So I had to contend with all these things. And instead of giving up, I adapted, I adjusted, and now I'm getting the results from that. So not only do I have this, I showed you earlier the two beds that I have, but that's not all. So I guess you can say long-term, short-term. A lot of what I've shown you that I use to grow in containers that I can turn over in a couple of months. This is an example of that, because this was lettuce. And once they petered out, I took those out, and now they're bush beans. But over here is the other example. I had to cover this, find a way to makeshift cover this. I'm not going to open this today, but this is all, at this point, this is all sweet potatoes. There's something like 18 sweet potato plants. Sweet potatoes now going for between $1.18 and $1.25 a pound. You get 4 or 5 sweet potatoes off of each slip. Do the math. I have almost 20. So this is going to help get me to where I need to be. This is not going to be turned over in time, because I'm going to probably harvest these in about another month, which is going to take me from to mid to late September. They do not do well in the cold. So by the time I harvest these sweet potatoes, and I'll put in, I don't know, probably cabbage, I'm not sure yet, maybe collard greens. Again, I haven't decided yet, but if I plant cabbage or collard greens in here in mid-September, it's going to be cutting it close. I mean, I know I'm not going to hit the frost date, but that's not a problem with cabbage and collard greens and so forth. But in terms of the first day of winter, well, I may not be harvesting those before then. It'll be close. But this is the other part of my plan. So in other words, the first plan is to use these raised beds because I can get a lot of produce out of these. And the second plan is to use the containers in small areas like this where I can turn these over. These beans take roughly 2 months. So I would say October. And again, you know, that'll be it in terms of reaching my target date, because whatever I plant in here in mid-October is probably not going to be harvestable until after December 21st, after the solstice. But that's okay, because I've already harvested some blueberries. I've harvested some, not very many, cucumbers. I've harvested squash. I've harvested polo beans, bush beans. So I'm already on my way to that 700 mark. And by the way, that is an estimate. I'm not going to sit down with a calculator and figure out every single thing that I grow. But the reason why I made this video is to kind of motivate you guys, because I'm reading these articles about people borrowing money to buy food. I just read an article that said that the food banks, since COVID, the numbers have gone up from 25 to 40%. And that's kind of scary to me, that the food prices are getting that high, that people have to go to food banks, that people have to borrow money. And by the way, the people that are borrowing money, they're saying now aren't able to pay it back. Well, that's not a surprise. So at any rate, that's what I'm trying to motivate you guys to do. It doesn't have to be the solstice. It doesn't have to be December 21st. It doesn't have to be $700. These are just goals that I set for myself. So that's it for now. This is the Frugal Gardener, and thank you once again for spending part of your day with me. I have 2 roosters. One is called Mr. and the other one is called Orion. And at this point, I don't know which one of them is giving me a hard time, but I'm going to wrap this up. So please subscribe. Please pass this video on. Remember, when you grow your own food, you will always know where it comes from. And it'll save money. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Enjoy your day.